Hi, it's Dr. Lori. I'm back with rants and raves. And these are the things that happen, behind the scenes that I think if you learn how the nuts and bolts of this works here, it might help you in many ways. So I get this comment too, I don't understand how you could tell when you're doing a video and you're looking at an object. I don't know how you could tell what that vase is when you didn't even look at the mark. I don't understand how you could tell and know a value for a painting when you didn't even read the signature of the artist. I don't understand how you can tell, without. Let me help you with this. Let me help you with this. You see this? Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? You all know what this is. Do you see it? Do you see it? You know what it is. You've eaten off of them. You know what they are, right? You know that this is a paper plate. You have familiarity with this paper plate. Don't you think I have familiarity with those vases? Don't you think I have seen so many of those vases that I don't even need to look at the mark? If I turn this over and I say, oh, look, there's a mark on the paper plate, you don't care because you knew it was a paper plate from this side. That's what I know when I'm looking at a vase like that. 25 years of experience, all this background, I do it all the time. I know from looking at it, that's where I'm coming from a different position, right? So, you're going, oh, well, she has to look at the mark. She didn't look at the mark. Okay, lots of times there isn't a mark. Lots of time I know there isn't a mark. Lots of times there is a mark and I already know what the mark is going to say. So, basically, just like you know the paper plate, I know this. It's sort of like, you have a note that's sitting on the kitchen counter and it's not signed. Do you know the notes from your husband? Of course you know the notes from your husband because you recognize his writing style. So, or maybe it's two cakes are on the kitchen counter at your house, and one of them is store-bought, and one of them was made by your teenage daughter. You know which one is store-bought without turning it over and looking at the bottom. You know because you have an awareness of that. You have a background where you have compared and contrast those two cakes before. Or maybe it's your grandkids. Maybe your grandkids went to camp and they both drew a picture of a tree. You know which is the 5-year-old's picture of the tree and which is the 9-year-old's picture of the tree. You can tell that even if they're unsigned. It's a familiarity with a particular thing. My familiarity and my base for a painting, a vase, a whatever, I didn't need to look at the bottom of that because I knew what the bottom was going to look like because I've seen umpteen million of them. That's why. Same way you would recognize the paper plate, I recognized the vase and knew it without looking at the mark. People who are saying I'm a robot, okay, so this is the new one that I'm hearing, that I'm a robot. I don't show anything of my personal life, and all I do is I give you the facts, and that's all I do. And, I said, I don't really think that's really true. When I saw that come in, I thought, that's not really true. Have you seen the community tab? Have you seen, my stories? Have you seen all the different things? I mean, if you've watched my videos, I mean, there's so much information about me, really. I don't know, I even think it's a lot of information about me. My events videos and many of the videos, if you've used the binge link, you probably know a lot more about me than, maybe you expected to. But okay, then there are other people who say, I don't really want to know much about you, but, it goes both ways. I can't really please all of you. But, I've done a lot of information about my cooking because one of the things I do to relax is I'm cooking. So, you want to know more about what my personal life is like. Well, one of the things that I do, and I put them up, like recently, I made cabbage and beans, which is one of those old-time Italian sort of meals in the winter that, my mom used to make a lot, so I was making that. I mean, I don't know how personal you want me to get, Do you want me to show you, what happens after I have cabbage and beans? I mean, I could do that for you, I mean, geez, how personal do you want me to get on this stuff? But again, I understand. Then someone else said just the opposite. They just said, oh, well, Dr. Lori, I don't really want to know about your personal life. I don't care what you're cooking. I didn't know that you thought you were a chef too, and they say this kind of stuff. So the office, we get an inquiry from a person who says, I want you to provide me with an appraisal that tells me all of these specific things. I want to know about, background, origin, medium, value, all this different information, and any other information that I don't know about. Now, how the heck am I going to know what you don't know? I'm going to tell you the appraisal. I'm going to tell you everything that's characteristic and specific in an appraisal. I do it all the time. That's fine. But how am I supposed to know, like through, I don't know, I'm going to have ESP to know what you don't know about. So you tell me, Dr. Lori, all these different things, especially particularly anything else that I don't know about. I mean, come on. This next rant and rave, kind of makes me lose all hope that anybody knows what the heck is going on in this society anymore. So it's just like, okay. So person writes in, I read your website, I read this page about a particular collectible that I have, and you're wrong here, and you're wrong here, and you're wrong here, and I have this one, and it's this, and I know because it was signed by the originator, and my parents knew that, and on and on and on. It was 2 pages of, here's all the reasons why you are wrong on your web page about my particular collectible. Okay. You think I'm not researching this stuff before I put it up? You think I don't know what I'm talking about? Fine, that's fine. But take the time to write me 2 pages of complaints, and then at the end of the 2 pages, here's the kicker. This person says, Dr. Lori, I really want you to tell me the value of my collectible. Well, I'm wrong about everything. Why would you want my opinion about the value? Oh, gee, because somewhere in there, I'm right. Somewhere in there, behind all of this other complaining, that I have to read through all of this. And I read everything. I do. I read it. So, I'm reading through all of this, and now this person wants my opinion. Imagine wanting my opinion after you've gone through how I'm wrong about every single thing about the characteristics of that particular collectible. It makes no sense to me at all. So there you go. That's another thing that I have to deal with that I got to get out of here, off my chest, off my chest. So then I get this, and this I think is kind of interesting, a little unusual, but maybe you can comment and give me your thoughts on this. That's what I would like. I'd like to know what you think about this next one. So I get comments and people say, you know what, Dr. Lori, you remind me of Joan Rivers. You remind me of Rosie O'Donnell. You remind me of Judge Judy. You remind me of all these people. I don't know, really, if I think I remind anybody of these people, but, I'd like to know what your comments are on that, whether or not I remind you of some other celebrity. Now, some of you already know what I'm going to say once I start this. So, okay, for those of you who know that, just bear with me. All right, we get a comment, email into the office that says, Dr. Lori, I want to know if original art is worth something if it's not signed. The Mona Lisa is not signed. John Singleton Copley's portrait of Paul Revere is not signed. Okay, I want to know if it's not signed or if the artist is unknown. I want to make sure because I'm learning about decor art, which is art. I guess this is a new definition that people have out there. Decor art is art that's not signed or where the artist is unknown, right? Okay. So then this person goes on to say, I know that you've said, Dr. Lori, now I know they're misquoting me here, that only the painting and the frame matter when you're establishing value for a work of art. I know I haven't said that. So, okay. But in fact, if it's not signed and it's only decor art, which means it's not signed and the artist is unknown, then, I don't really know what it's worth. Now, people in the Reddit community in art, so there's on Reddit, I guess there's an art community. Those people say that decor art is not really worth much. Works of art that are unsigned and works of art that are where the artist is unknown. Okay, so the Mona Lisa, according to the Reddit editors or the Reddit community, say that the Mona Lisa, because it's unsigned, is not valuable. Okay, and this is where you're all going to say, I know you're going to say, Dr. Lori, that you have all of these degrees. I do, and I'm showing them to you now because this is getting ridiculous. Here's one. Here's two. That's the second one. And I have another one as well, these degrees that I have, because basically, I know you love these groups. I know it's a community. We have a great community here too. But in fact, these folks don't know what they're talking about when they're trying to evaluate pieces. Unsigned works of art can be valuable. They can be very valuable. This statement, this title of decor art, I don't know where they got this from. They made it up somehow. This particular idea is another one that isn't what we see in the art world. And I don't need to keep telling you that I have 3 degrees. I want you to understand that these are characteristics that do not impact value significantly. So I want you to understand what does impact value significantly. Oh, it's not signed, it's not valuable. And there's the Mona Lisa, one of the most important works of art. But in that time period, they didn't sign those pieces. So really, I'm just asking you, before you take somebody's word as gospel, make sure they have the credentials to be able to be giving you this information, because they may be leading you down the wrong path. So this is a comment that comes from my Real Bargains videos. I know you've all seen them and all liked them, and that's great. And this person says, I'm watching your Real Bargains videos, and Dr. Lori, I'd really like for you to do videos on when somebody goes thrifting and buys something at the thrift store and pays too much for it. Like, they want to see the failures, basically. So first of all, if you watch my videos, which this person has not obviously watched the videos, if you watch many of my other videos, you'll know that I have told people, well, you paid too much for that. I shoot straight all the time. So, they paid too much if they went to the thrift store or the estate sale or wherever thinking that they got something. So, that's one of the things that people don't realize. And then the other thing is, I don't know, I would think people want to see, in fact, oh, maybe you all want to see the negative. I don't know. But basically, if they want to see where people are successful and why they're successful, my videos teach you what you can actually look for, what you can go shopping for, and how to actually, of course, buy those things and then turn it around and sell for money. This person says that he or she actually, they sell every day, they go thrifting every day, and they're trying to find the windfall, they're trying to find, the diamond in the rough, and they're not finding it, and they're not able to do it, and they're not doing very well. Well, I think you're not watching. I think you're not watching. Here's why. I show you the objects, I show you the people who have bought them, what they paid. Many, many, many of the, of course, of the people who have come to me for appraisals have resold these objects. Some of them are family heirlooms, some of them are found thrifting, but many people have been able to sell them for the values that I gave based on actual sales records. So, now in the comments, I want you to tell me, do you want to see those kinds of videos where people are failing? You tell me. I'll consider it. So I get comments in this vein. I don't understand what I'm watching. Dr. Lori is helping some thrift store owner to reprice items, so when I go out to buy them, they're going to be higher priced. All these thrift stores already know that everything's very, very high priced. Let me tell you something. First of all, that person just wants me to only help them when they're selling. They don't want me to help any other seller. So basically, and the other thing about the thrift stores is they have so much, they're inundated with stuff. A lot of them don't know what they're doing, as I've shown many, many, many times when it comes to pricing. A lot of them don't have enough staff to get even the stuff out onto the shelf so you can buy it, right? And then they're saying, oh, well, you're just basically helping all the sellers to, of course, raise their prices and identify these pieces and raise their prices, so I'm not able to get them for a bargain. Well, your problem is that you're saying you only want me to help certain people, and that certain people who I'm supposed to help is you when you're the seller. But you don't want me to help any other sellers. So that's the other thing that's happening here. I want to know whether or not, you really think that that's what's happening at the resale shops. I think they're inundated. I know that there's value and bargains still there. And, when I run my classes, I had a class just last night when many, many of the class members said, I'm a reseller and I'm going to the thrift stores and I'm still finding stuff, Dr. Lori. It's out there. So I want you to know what's out there. But basically, you're saying, oh, you're putting a damper on my fun, right? Well, basically, it's helping you to identify what's valuable. And that's what I'm trying to do for all of you. I get this comment. I get it a lot. It's in this vein. And basically, it's, Dr. Lori's too much for me, and I'm sick of hearing about her degrees. I'm sick of, we know who you are. I'm sick of hearing about your degrees. But just for you, I'm going to show you my degrees again. Here they are. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. Why do I show them to you? Not because I need to show them to you. I show them to you because I want you to know the difference between someone who's trying to help you, who has the credentials to help you, and someone who doesn't. Okay? Now, oh, well, everybody knows a lot of things. You don't know everything. You're absolutely right. I do not know everything about everything. But let me tell you, when it comes to helping you to understand about art, antiques, and collectibles, 25 years of experience and those 3 degrees that I keep talking about are going to be able to help you. They've helped many of you, many of you. They've helped a lot of you. I mean, I can think of examples like, a mother of 5 in Florida who went from selling items per month and making about $500 in her resale business to watching my videos and making $30,000 a month in her resale business. So I can help you. Those degrees are helping me, and those degrees are helping you too. But I understand if I'm over the top. I understand if it's too much, and you know who I am. If you know who I am, let me help you. Thank you for letting me rant and rave. Thank you for watching the channel. I'm Dr. Lori. I'll see you next time.